Hey everyone, it's Alexander, the real Mr. Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Last Night in Soho, which is the latest movie by Edgar Wright, and his first legit horror movie. He made a name for himself with Shaun of the Dead, but that was clearly a horror comedy. It was a parody of zombie movies, and a brilliant one, so for him to actually make a straightforward horror movie, I was completely on board with it. The movie follows an aspiring fashion designer played by Thomasin McKenzie who moves to London from the countryside to attend fashion school, and she decides to rent an old room in this pretty old building because she can't spend one night with her roommates at her dorm. Like, she's just sick of them from day one. But this room seems to have some sort of magical quality to it because she finds herself transported into 1960s London, and she finds herself in the body of a young woman played by Anya Taylor-Joy. And the first time Thomasin McKenzie's character sees this woman, she's entranced by her costumes, and she uses that as part of her influence for school. However, every time she finds herself transported to the 60s, it seems like there's a big mystery going on, where Anya Taylor-Joy's, let's just say, pimp, played by Matt Smith, is really abusive towards her, and it starts to evolve into a murder mystery where Thomasin McKenzie tries to figure out what happened back in the past and see if she can find the murderer. This is a movie that I've been looking forward to ever since I first saw the trailer because I love most of Edgar Wright's movies. Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, I think, are his two best. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is a great movie, but I don't find myself in love with it or having the urge to rewatch it like I did with Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. The World's End is great and was my very first visit to an Alamo Drafthouse theater. Baby Driver was a lot of fun as well and had some great editing and a fantastic soundtrack, but it also had an ending that was just flat out terrible. But Edgar Wright is such a unique director that I thought with a straightforward horror movie, he could really give us something, and he does. One of the best things about this movie is the setup and the overall atmosphere. It captures the nightlife look of London perfectly, and the look of the 60s, ranging from the neon glows to the costumes that Anya Taylor-Joy wears. It's all fantastic. It's got a great soundtrack, much like Baby Driver, and the way the script builds up this murder mystery is pretty intriguing. It left me on the edge of my seat thinking, what's gonna happen? Who's the killer? And the cast is great as well. Your two leads are Thomasin McKenzie and Anya Taylor-Joy. Thomasin McKenzie does a great job at being that very awkward, introverted art student, I guess. I mean, she's in fashion, but there's still an artistry to fashion design. The only problem I have with her is that she's a little too soft-spoken, often to the point where the movie could have used some subtitles. Like, I'm so sorry to say that because I think Thomasin McKenzie is very talented, but in this movie there were a lot of points where it was kind of difficult to understand what she was saying, and it wasn't the accent, it was just her soft-spoken nature. But Anya Taylor-Joy is the one that absolutely steals the show. I feel like this is more Anya Taylor-Joy's movie than it is Thomasin McKenzie's, and even in the worst movies that I've seen Anya Taylor-Joy in, she's always fascinating to watch, she's incredibly talented, and she does a fantastic job with her role in this movie. I won't go into too much detail than that because I don't want to give away any spoilers, but she was definitely the highlight. Matt Smith, aka Doctor Who, did a really good job at just being slimy and just an unlikable prick at the end of the day. There's a lot that I admire about this movie, and there are certainly some suspenseful moments throughout, but unfortunately I thought, much like with Baby Driver, Edgar Wright fumbled the ending. But without spoiling the ending of the movie, once we actually get the big reveal on what happened in the past and who was the murderer, I didn't feel like there were any consequences. It's almost like Thomasin McKenzie finds out about the big truth, and it's a situation where you sit there and go, oh, okay, we've got the big answer. Mystery solved. Now what? Oh, nothing? We're just gonna walk away from this? Oh, okay. Alright, that's anticlimactic. So, yeah, not enough to ruin the movie, because when you think back to the events that happen in the movie, everything leading up to the big ending does make sense. And the script does a really good job at hiding the big mystery. But again, I just didn't feel like there were any consequences that happened. It was just like, okay, we watched a murder mystery, and nothing really came out of it at the end. But that being said, I think there's a lot in this movie that makes it worthwhile even if you find yourself being underwhelmed by the ending. So I'd say it's good, but it's not great. Even though I gave Baby Driver a higher rating when I first saw that movie, I actually like this more than I do Baby Driver because, again, that ending was so goddamn stupid and void of logic that it ruined the rest of the movie. Whereas this, it was just underwhelming, like I said beforehand. And it's a shame because this could have been the best horror movie of 2021, but no. When it comes to best horror movies of 2021, The Quiet Place Part 2 and The Night House still reign supreme. This movie's definitely more style over substance, but it's so strong that I definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it. And there you go, that's my review for Last Night in Soho. I hope you enjoyed it, and now I want to know what you guys think about the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Whatever the case may be, let me know in the comments below. And until next time, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there is only one. Hello everyone, I just want to say thank you all for watching my review for Last Night in Soho. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, go check out my Twitch channel, and support me on Patreon. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day, and take care of yourselves.